Peace. Good evening. I'd like to welcome you all back to the Foul Play Land. As always, I am Sir Foul Player of BK, Vietnam. Hope you guys are having a wonderful evening. I wanted to talk to you guys about a certain situation that happened today politically. I had a few links going for this stream on Twitter, but all of a sudden my Twitter started acting up. I'm not tech savvy. Sometimes that happens with Twitter, from my experience, but it just started happening a couple minutes ago out of nowhere. But I could get on with the main body of the story because I could break down the issue at hand. And the issue at hand, which happened today, is a recording of Kari Lake, which was made by her. If you guys don't know, Kari Lake is a woman who was a news anchor in the Arizona area, I think on the national stage as well, but she ended up running for governor of Arizona. She had a lot of fanfare behind her. She was a proponent of MAGA, is a proponent of MAGA still. Seasoned lady. I mean, she speaks really well. Even if you don't like her, you got to admit, well-spoken, sharp, has a lot of tact when she's conversing or going against reporters. In addition to the fact that she has a MAGA base behind her, she's a real popular candidate. I mean, and she's never really detracted. One of the big things with her also is that she's had a long-standing relationship with Trump. Probably one of the top people that people would list if you're listing MAGA hierarchy, if you will. One of the people that some people consider her a candidate for the vice president of Trump should Trump win. But she, at this current juncture, one of the main things that she's known for is the fact that she lost the Arizona election for governor in 2022. And she's contended that that process wasn't straight up, if you guys get my drift. She says that the process wasn't straight up. There's also the fact that the person who she was running against, her name is Katie Hobbs. She was also working as the Secretary of State at that time when this election took place. So she was kind of overseeing the selection, if you will, the process, which Kari Lake says wasn't a straight up process. Kari Lake's contention is that the process that she went through in 2022 to become the governor of Arizona, pardon self, wasn't straight up, if you guys get my drift. Anyhow, a lot of people agree with her. A lot of people said that that state had a lot of funky stuff going on. So she has that ability or that claim, in addition to Trump, that their processes weren't straight up when they ran for their respective offices, if you will. And a lot of people believe them, both in the case of 45 and in addition to Kari Lake. So today, Kari Lake released a audio clip of her conversing with a gentleman who's the head of the Arizona Republican Committee, basically. So if you're running in Arizona and you are trying to get money directly from the Republican Party, he would be the person that would you would have to see. And I believe it's an elected position too. But this person is offering Kari Lake what sounds like a bribe. I don't know what the legality of all this is, like whether this is all legal or not. I'm pretty sure they could weasel, a lawyer may be able to weasel their way out of like doing time for something like that, or not. I mean, even getting charged for something like this. But I had some other links from Twitter, like I said. Now all of a sudden they're not working. But I do want to play the audio of the conversation that Kari Lake recorded between her and Arizona GOP chair. His name is Jeff DeWit. So again, I mean, I think he was just elected to this position. He's the Arizona GOP chair. I mean, this is at a state level, so he'd be the person that you'd have to get money from to run ads at the state level of Arizona, if you will, for the Republicans. But these people are usually sleazy at, like, all these people that run these state, a lot of times that hold these positions, especially at a state level that I've known of, or races, it's always these really sleazy people, like from my experience, from what I know politically, at the local level, of course. But this is one of these individuals. He's a Jeff DeWit. I'm gonna show the picture of him now from the video that I'm gonna play. Actually, I'll show the picture of him while I play the video. But it's an 11-minute long video. Here and there, I'll take pauses or I'll stop to give my opinion, if you will. But before I even get into all this, I mean, to me, this sounds like some mafioso stuff. There was kind of alluding to violence, murder. I mean, if you will, from me listening to this recording 3 times. I've listened to it 3 times, about 11 minutes long. A lot of the clips that were out in the media today was a shorter version from the one that I'm gonna play for you guys this evening. But the one that is being shared in Twitter and on the media, whatever have you, is about 6 minutes long. And I guess they cut out a few portions that they thought weren't pertinent. But I heard that first version, like the 6-minute version, twice. And then I heard the 11-minute version by just looking it up on YouTube with the video I'm going to share with you guys here in a few minutes. The time that they cut out of the original version, the 6-minute version that's being shared, I mean, like, they should have not cut 1 second from this video. I mean, again, I'm going to play the 11-minute version. But the one that's being shared the most, I had to do a little digging to find the one that I'm going to play for you guys now. But being that this is just happened today, as far as them sharing it, you got 45 just winning an election yesterday. Stuff happening with that race yesterday in New Hampshire, where the Republican Party or outside entities were financing some of the candidates there. I just found out today, but that's a different story, I guess. But you also have, the same swampy conservative apparatus going after Trump, attempting to get Kari Lake not to run for Senate after Kari Lake ran for governor and lost in 2022. She then pivoted to contending for a Senate chair in 2024. The gentleman in this video, who's Jeff DeWit, the Arizona GOP chair, he's basically telling her name or price to sit out of this race. If she sits out of this race and they get some swampy Arizona Republican guy in there, which there are many. I mean, if you guys know Arizona politics, all those guys in Arizona are slimy as hell, Republican and Democrat, especially the Democrats, but the Republicans are there just as well at a local level. And I've learned about them because of some of the stuff that's been contended in Arizona by some people, like some of the things that people have said that were funky about the processes that take place in Arizona, which Kari Lake is also mentioned as well, in addition to 45. So Stephen Richer, for instance, I think he's the person that oversees a certain process in Arizona. He's a Republican. He is a person that a lot of people say is a grimy figure, like a person that you can't be trusted. In addition, and in addition to the fact that he's a conservative Republican or runs as Republican, some people say that he's likely compromised, and he just seems like he's not on the up and up from my observation. But that's just one example from what I know. And I'm a New Yorker that lives in Jersey, shouldn't know about politicians from another state at that level, like a Stephen Richer, if you will. But I know of Stephen Richer because of the notoriety of himself, in addition to some of the people within that state, liberal and conservative, quote unquote, or Republican and Democrat. But with Kari Lake, she's a primetime political figure. And for somebody of her stature to be approached with what looks like a bribe, like what sounds like a bribe, I mean, this should be national news. And the liberal media, which the liberal media is usually slanted left or Democrat helping, i.e., look at how reticent they are to criticize the guy who's currently in office. When you have a media like that, that's quick to jump on a story that looks negative for the Republican Party, or they would have been all over that. They're not mentioning the story much. And this came out this morning. But trying to word things correctly too, because I don't I fear getting this kiboshed until I make a move elsewhere. This is all I have. But the story came out this morning. The gentleman who's being accused of this, he's not being accused because he actually admitted to it being him, and that was on this recording released by Kari Lake. Big Bruce Gas, peace. Thanks for coming through, my brother. He's actually admitted to it being him, and he's also stepped down from his position as the Arizona GOP chair. So it's definitely him, for anybody who would try to say otherwise. But the media did take long in releasing the story out there, giving the fact that Kari Lake, again, is a huge politician. Kari, the fact this guy is an elected official too. You know, he's the grand poobah for the state of Arizona, and he's resigned. You know, he's quit the position solely because of this story. So you'd think that there'd be a lot more eyes on it, or the media would be pushing it a lot more. And technically, it's negative for the Republican Party. It shows chaos within the Republican Party when you have a gentleman of such a high position doing something that most people would consider illegal. Or many people wonder, including myself, whether that's illegal. But you're getting both Republican and Democrat media not really reporting what a big story this is. I mean, especially when you guys hear the recording. I mean, it's a lot worse than what I'm describing. But let me just get into it too, because I'm gonna have to stop a few times during the recording, and I want you guys to listen along with me. Having said that, again, this is an 11-minute recording. I'm probably not going to be able to see the comments much. Actually, no, I am, because I'm going to run my phone besides. But if I don't see your comments, pardon self. Let me get right into this video. Again, hope you guys are having a wonderful evening. I know I am. This is a crazy story, though. No bullshit. All bullshitting aside, because this is kind of scary. I mean, and before I get into that too, shout out to the Jim Heath channel. Yeah, Jim Heath channel, and he's where I'm getting this video from. Let me undo this real quick though too. Before, I just want to give one more opinion prior to starting the video. But the bribe, what looks like a bribe for somebody of Kari Lake stature. Again, this person ran for governor of Arizona, almost won. Some people contended she did win. She did win. A person who's also running for Senate in 2024, this year. A person who's a big time figure, probably the biggest person after Trump within the MAGA movement, without a doubt, the biggest person outside of Trump within the MAGA movement. To have somebody within her own party come at her with a bribe, it has to be a substantial bribe. You know, so what are you talking there? 20 million, 30 million? You have to ask yourself, like, where does that kind of scatol come from? You know, who's financing these things? Cheers to you guys too. But another instance in the theme of this year of big things being revealed. This is one of them. This, don't get it twisted. Kari Lake has known to be steadfast in support of Trump. The gentleman is also alluding to the fact that it would Kari Lake stepping down from running for Senate, which is what he's asking her to do in this video, hurts 45, 47, if you will. So he's basically offering her money to do something at such a pivotal time in the country too, where everything's going nuts. Arizona's going nuts too. Arizona's a border state. This person is basically telling Kari Lake to step down from running from the Senate in 2024, knowing also too that her winning a Senate seat in a pivotal state like Arizona would help the Republican cause that he represents. He's the head GOP representative for the state, for the entire state of Arizona. But I'm going to get into the video again. The Jim Heath channel, shout out to him. This is for educational purposes only. I wanted to shout out the channel before I started playing it. That's why I took it off before. But they also show the photo of both Kari Lake on the left and this slimy individual, Jeff DeWit. This thing's bugging out on me. Sorry, guys. Oh, here we go. Again, I'm going to 11-minute video. I'm going to stop here and there and give my commentary. Here we go. Kari Lake, one-time governor, ran for governor in 2022 of the state of Arizona, and now running for the Senate seat of Arizona in 2024. And Jeff DeWit on the right, he's the GOP chair, the guy who runs the Republican Party for the state of Arizona, in essence. And here we go.
So what's going on? I'm assuming this is our friend.
This is
This is back east. There are very powerful people that want to keep you out.
I know they do. And
so she's trying to find out who he's referring to or who's making an offer to her, basically. He says back east. I'm not going to stop it for a little while after this. But later on, you could tell that the people that he's referring to back east, quote unquote, is Washington, D.C. But let me continue. Because he goes on to say, like, the nature of the city of D.C.
This is.
And note how slimy he sounds throughout. Let me continue.
This is back east. There are very powerful people that want to keep you out.
I know they do.
But they're willing to put their money where their mouth is in a big way. So, this conversation never happened.
This is crazy, though. They should want me. I'm a great candidate. People love me. These people are corrupt.
Well, maybe you're right.
They are right. They are corrupt.
Maybe. This never happened. Don't go. Do me a favor, though. I'll get myself in trouble. This, if you say no, which is fine, it's your choice. Don't tell people.
They're gonna try to have me murdered.
Not either. Today's world, man. If that stuff that came out last week is right about the cartel stuff, I mean, they say the cartel's operating in 50 states right now, like all 50. You know? So
what's going on? Who is?
I'm gonna stop it right there. So if you guys didn't hear that, Kari Lake is alluding to the fact that doing that her remaining in the race or staying involved politically could get her murdered. Jeff DeWit doesn't retort or respond by saying, no, it's nothing of that nature. He goes on to mention that the cartel is in all 50 states. If you guys don't know, people will tell you that the cartel, one of their biggest, or the Mexican cartels, are one of their strong points is the state of Arizona. Probably their biggest strong point at almost every level, from what some people say. So these are both people that are involved with the inner workings of the Arizona. So she jokingly, in a sense, mentions that her actions could get her killed or murdered. I think she mentions, and he doesn't say, "Oh no, chill." You know, oh whoa, it's nothing that serious. You know, like, but if you could just consider, you know, and we could give you money. He goes on to say, listen, like, there's a story that came out, the other day that the cartels in every state, you know, which is troubling because the cartel is huge in the state of Arizona. Let me continue.
Not either. Today's world, man.
They're gonna try to have me murdered.
Not either. Today's world.
They're gonna try to have me murdered.
That stuff that came out last week is right about the cartel stuff. I mean, they say the cartel's operating in 50 states right now, like all 50. You know? So
what's going on? Who is it? What?
Forget the who. Let me just tell you the what. Let's just say there are people
what it is.
Saying, gosh, no, they can't repeat this. Never repeat this. If you say no, don't. Because I got offered to buy out. Don't use it. Because then we lose our ability to get things done in the future.
Here's my problem. Rather than just say, let's work with her, she's a great candidate, because they don't own me, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, I don't know, it's about ownership.
It's about control.
I don't know, it's about control. It's about being on the team. I guess that's, you know what I mean?
They want to be on the team.
They want you to be on their team.
But
just team. You know?
But if they're pushing a globalist agenda, I can't do that. So what do they want? What do they want me to do?
They want you to stay out for 2 years.
I wanted to take a stop here. You know, again, she alludes to the fact that they're trying to push a globalist agenda. He doesn't say, oh, no, it's not that. You know, it's something else in Arizona happening or in the state of Arizona. It doesn't relate to the whole country or to the globalist agenda. He's basically saying, you know, like, listen, they just want you to sit out for 2 years, which, I mean, again, 2 years is a pivotal time because of what's happening at the end of this year. in November or come November. But this person, Kari Lake, should she be contending, I think she would be a front runner for the Senate seat that she's trying to race for. But she would also be a bullhorn for the MAGA cause simultaneously. In addition to the fact that that seat would be super important for the Republican Senate. But here you have this slimy individual trying to convince her to sit out for 2 years, allude to the fact that murder is a possibility in all this. But this is scary stuff that's happening. I'm going to keep playing the video. But again, if you guys want to comment, feel free. Mikasa,
Well,
Sukasa.
I'll tell you what I can offer you. But I said you can do whatever you want. It's talking head, isn't it? So the ask of me was, it's kind of funny. So the ask I got today from back east was, is there any companies out there or something that could just put her on the payroll and give her to keep her out? And I said, well, what do you want to do? Like, whatever we need to do.
This is about defeating Trump. And I think
So here they one of the suggestions that the people that he had a powwow with that are trying to that used him to convince Kari Lake not to run for office for the Senate.
To keep her out.
They were trying to, I guess he's alluding to the fact that they were trying to come up with a solution that they could offer her to a high position job that pays a lot of money within some corporation, I guess, or for a news agency or something that she could go into, or instead of running for Senate. Like, so these people that you could tell have a lot of power, money, are coming up with probably a CEO position that they were intending on offering her so she could sit out from 2024.
Is there any companies out there or something that could just put her on the payroll and give her to keep her out? And I said,
sorry, guys.
well, what do you want to do? Like, whatever we need to do.
this is about defeating Trump. And I think that's a bad, bad thing for our country. DeSantis is not America first. This is about the final death blow to Trump. And I don't think that's good for our country.
And you know, I love Trump. I mean, I love Trump.
It's not good for our country, Jeff.
It's not. But at the same time, I'm not even sure Trump can win. I don't know if he can win. I think what it really comes down to for a lot of people, it's not really about like control or agenda. It's just about the ability to raise money to win. You know.
So here you go, and he mentions one of the reasoning behind him making this offer to her, and the offer was rendered to her by the people that he's representing to try to take the legs from up under 45, who's running, like you guys well know, for the highest office of the United States of America in 2024. But let me continue. So again, like anybody who says like, no, this is an offer that was made to Kari Lake alone, no, it is being made to her, yes, but it's being made to her in an effort to take the legs, to take the steam out from under Mr. T.
DeSantis is not America first. This is about the final death blow to Trump. And I don't think that's good for our country.
And you know, I love Trump. I mean, I love Trump.
It's not good for our country, Jeff.
It's not. But at the same time, I'm not even sure Trump can win. I don't know if he can win. I think what it really comes down to for a lot of people, it's not really about like control or agenda. It's just about the ability to raise money to win. You know, if you really want to know, all of politics boils down to money. I think. Absolutely. And even on their end, like what makes them the most money?
I know all these consultants don't want their payday to end, and I don't want to make a deal with these kind of people. This is a hill worth dying on. I'm not. If they're going to steal the election to make me and our movement go away, I'm not letting them do that. I owe it to the people of Arizona to carry their torch and their voice.
Or you don't go away, but you pause.
This is the battles right now, Jeff.
You pause, and you fill your coffers.
No, the battle is right now. The battle is right now, and we don't have time to pause on this battle.
See, he's trying every which way to convince her to not run. You could take a pause. Something about this guy just seems so creepy, just scum. And, you know, this is in all politics. But you don't see these things in the Democratic establishment. You don't get like these kind of defections the last 7 years plus. People that go on internally within the party and do shit like this. This is all like the Democrats play to win in large, you know, probably going after people or funding people like a Jeff DeWit. You know, it may not be the liberal establishment by name or something, or the Democratic Party by name, but I'm pretty sure it's damn close to or one off. But the fact that the political landscape is playing out in such a fashion where you have somebody who's offering to corrupt a prominent candidate for Arizona Senate seat with what looks like money, and also trying to kibosh the person that's running for the highest office of the land against Joe Biden in this coming 2024 election. You know, it make the fact that, you know, don't think that this is a one-off. This is happening probably all over. You could safely assume that this is probably happening within every political, a lot of political seats. But, you know, if somebody wants to go and set trib, oh, you know, that's everybody.
You're not.
I mean, it is everybody, but right now what you're looking at is something that's happening internally within the Republican Party. And like, if you want to go play cheerleader and say, oh, well, you know, well, fuck them Republican motherfuckers, man, fuck Trump, you know, it's concerning, because that any sort of politics is being played out like this at this current time. I mean, anything's possible. But again, I don't look at these things and get scared. I get actually excited when things like this come out in the open, because I think that a lot more things like this are going to come out in the open in 2024. This is the year of revelation. Not in a biblical sense, but in a biblical sense. But sure as heck, I think there's going to be a ton of revelations. Look at what has already happened. Cat Williams, along with same day release of some of the Epstein files. Didn't amount to much, but still some sort of revelation, black and white, if you will. You also have the stuff with the synagogue in Brooklyn. Dom Lucre actually visited that synagogue and made a few tweets about it yesterday, if you guys follow Twitter. But, you know, you're getting people exposing all facets of life as we know it. And it's very spicy to be living in it. I mean, this is just one in probably many that's going to go down this year. But let me continue with this video, please. Again, thank you guys for joining me. And if you guys are listening like on the low or, you know, whatever, like at least subscribe to your broski, like, you know, and like too. I mean, like, I do want to make my my algos go up. And on top of that too, man, help me out in the sense that I know zero about technology. I want to learn less about technology if given the opportunity. You guys don't know, I've DJ'd for many years, and I never played CDs. I never used a computer. I've always detested everything to do with technology. I always used vinyl records and turntables. I detest all technology. So having said that, I mean, I have a big time handicap when I try to do these things as far as multimedia or big tech streaming or whatever. So help me out as much as you could. I'm giving you the raws too. You know, I'm a person that is 100% from the hood, giving this perspective of what's happening at a pivotal time beyond any I've ever lived through here in this 2024, and trust that things will get more spicy. So help me out in keeping on. But let me continue with this video.
What you can't scratch their back. It's not afraid of it.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to offer them. And they're sitting around people that have stuff to offer them. You know what I mean? It's just it's a back scratching club. That's all DC is. It's a big back scratching club. You're in no position to scratch. You're not.
I'm sorry. I want to play the video large screen. I forget so that you guys could read along with the captions. But I stopped it at that point too because of what he says when he's describing Washington, D.C. And that's why when he, like I said earlier, referred to some people back east want Kari Lake to sit out of this Senate race in 2024. When he's referring to back east, he's referring to Washington, D.C. because he refers to Washington, D.C. as the city where this is emanating from, this offer to Kari Lake, bribe to Kari Lake.
What you can't scratch their back. It's not afraid of it.
Yeah. The battle is right now, and we don't have time to pause on this battlefield.
You're not.
He changes his tune now.
What you can't scratch their back. It's not afraid of it.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to offer them. And they're sitting around people that have stuff to offer them. You know what I mean? It's just it's a back scratching club. That's all DC is. It's a big back scratching club. You're in no position to scratch anybody's back, and you've already made it known that if you get there, you're not going to scratch anybody's back. I don't scratch people's back. You know, I've been on the outs for a lot of people for a long time because I don't scratch backs. You know, where are we in 2 years if they steal the election again?
Listen to what you're saying. Why don't we do something about it so that we the people can pick our?
What can we do?
I'm not willing to accept that, and I'm going to be the biggest pain in these people's. Go back and tell them that I'm running, and I'm going to be the biggest pain in their.
I'm going to rewind it again.
You're no.
But he's referring to what Kari Lake has alluded to when she ran for governor of Arizona a couple years ago. He's alluding to that, but he's not saying, you know, we're going to try to change that process or make that not happen this time. He's basically throwing his hands up in the air saying, oh, well, they're going to do it again this time. And that's what things are. But let me go back to it. I don't want to mention what she's alluding to. I don't know if that'll get me kiboshed, but
No position to scratch anybody's back, and you've already made it known that if you get there, you're not going to scratch anybody's back. I don't scratch people's back. You know, I've been on the outs for a lot of people for a long time because I don't scratch backs. You know, where are we in 2 years if they steal the election again?
Listen to what you're saying. Why don't we do something about it so that we the people can pick our?
What can we do?
I'm not willing to accept that, and I'm going to be the biggest pain in these people's. Go back and tell them that I'm running, and I'm going to be the biggest pain in their.
I'm willing to tell them that.
And they're going to have to kill me to stop me.
No, I know. Look, and
You don't have to tell them that, but I don't think they will. But
see, he ain't stopping when she said that.
either they come around and try to work with me, or I'm
what
just
would that
going to.
entail?
That would entail not
All of
telling
them-
layman's telling me you got to distance yourself from Trump. I know you distance yourself from DeSantis.
He's all butthurt about that.
But what I'm saying is, don't tell people that. I'm with Trump, okay? I want to work for the betterment of Arizona. I'm not going to let these people back in D.C. tell me not to run. I'm not going to pause for 2 years. The battle is now. I'm offended by whoever these people are that they're trying to buy me out of.
Well, you should be honored.
I'm offended that there's people back there who just don't get about our.
You hear this, slime ball? You should be honored that she's being considered for what sounds like a bribe.
Buy me out of.
Well, you should be honored.
I'm offended that there's people back there who just don't get about our country.
Do you understand though? You should be honored. That means they know how powerful you are.
Well, I can tell them
if
that.
If you weren't powerful, they wouldn't want to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Right? You should be. Very few people get this.
I know. I'm pissed that they don't care more about our country. It's all about the mighty dollar to them. And that's offensive.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
They want to get Trump so bad. They want him out so bad.
About Trump. This is about Trump. It's about you. It's not about Trump.
I'm good.
It's about you. It's not about Trump. Some people that are in on this.
Listen, I can win. Why don't you go back and tell them that I can win? And why don't they get behind me?
I see these things through a different lens. It's very personal to you. This was you. It was your name on the ballot. And I get that. And it's a very personal thing.
Well, I have a appointment coming up and I have to work on my book.
Yeah.
I'm not good. I appreciate their concern.
Just to say, is there a number at which
I can be bought?
Not be bought.
That's what it's about.
You can take a pause for a couple of years.
No.
And then go right back to what you're doing.
See, I mean, he's probably going in there with the intention of telling her to detract from Trump or not run, but he's also offering for her to quote unquote pause for 2 years. You know, in addition to bringing up a number that she could come up with that she'd be willing to take.
Just to say,
he's trying every which way.
Is there a number at which
I can be bought?
Not be bought.
That's what it's about.
You can take a pause for a couple of years.
No.
And then go right back to what you're doing.
No. 10 million, 20 million, 30, no. A billion, no. This is not about money. This is about our country. I think it's disturbing that they would that anybody would think this is.
No, to be fair, even me, I'll say this. I want a fresh face right now for the reason that I've never seen anyone. I can't think of a single person in a federal race who's lost, ran in and won. I can't think of it. If you can think of it, let me know.
I'm not going to let these people who hate our country tell me not to run. You should call them and tell them to get behind me.
I mean,
I can win, and they should get behind me.
I will happily say those words.
Yeah.
Do you think my words will carry any weight? No.
Okay. Well, did you think you would come in here and that I would be bought?
It's not being bought.
Yes, it is.
I think.
It is being bought. No. They are trying to buy me out of running. It's actually, I mean, all right, I'm flattered. I'm offended. I'm offended for our country. We have people like this who live here.
What I think is this. It can give you an incredible opportunity to have a bigger voice to fight for stuff than you currently do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't want to deal with people like this. These people are un-American, and I think they're unethical, and I would be absolutely immoral if I did that.
Again.
That's immoral. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror if I,
It's very powerful people that are willing to, they really want someone different. They want new names, whatever it is.
So
see, now he's referring to the fact that they're powerful. You know, he's trying to maybe instill like a little bit of fear, if you will, didn't talk down the fact when she referred to this group of people that he represents murdering her.
I couldn't look at myself in the mirror if I, you know.
It's very powerful people that are willing to, they really want someone different. They want new names, whatever it is.
So they want Jim Lehman. That's a new name.
No, actually, that's not even, that's a possibility, but they're even asking me like,
I know they've got all these new names, and I'm going to beat each and every one of them. Sorry, Jeff. Take it back to them.
oh,
I gotta get working.
I know.
I love you, but I gotta get working.
All right. I appreciate it.
I'm just can't believe this.
Hey, again, be honored. Instead of them just them working to beat you, they're trying to
This is about getting Trump out.
Nah,
Yeah, it is.
Trump never came once.
But it's about DeSantis, getting DeSantis in. Getting DeSantis is getting Trump out.
You're reading too deep into it.
Well, let's see what happens. Maybe my case will go through. Maybe they'll do the right thing.
I hope so.
And I believe she's referring to her case in reference to her running for a governor in Georgia. She's contended that in court. It's still ongoing at this point of the recording. So this is what she's referring to when Kari Lake, the woman in this recording, ran for governor of Arizona.
This is getting Trump out.
You're reading too deep into it.
Well, let's see what happens. Maybe my case will go through. Maybe they'll do the right thing.
I hope so.
I do too. That's my first goal. But they can't have me in the governor's office because then we're going to root out some of this corruption.
But again, it's like,
You know what it is? The people don't get to choose their elected officials unless they're pre-approved by the swamp. And the swamp doesn't pre-approve of me.
you need a strong party to help.
I think you should go public with this and then say, hey,
no.
these people don't want to, they don't want,
And then I turn my key in my car and I just
See what he's saying?
I like it.
I mean, she's telling him to go public with the fact that some unknown party at this point is willing to pay her to sit out of politics for a couple of years. And he's alluding to the fact that when she brings up the fact that he should go public with this, he's fearful almost, and he mentions the fact that his car could be strapped with a bomb.
and the swamp doesn't pre-approve of me.
You need a strong party to help.
I think you should go public with this and then say, hey,
No.
these people don't want to, they don't want,
And then I turn my key in my car and I just I like it.
tell them I'm not flattered. I'm offended that
Don't
they,
tell anybody we had this conversation.
I'm offended that they don't care about our country more.
I actually wish you'd just give me a counter offer that's big. Give me a counter.
See, you could tell they're outside at this point, and she's dismissing him, and he's still bringing up a counter offer. So he's not, to the people that say that this doesn't sound like a bribe. I mean, you're pretty much trying to convince yourself.
I can't be bought.
Come on.
I can't anymore.
I actually wish you'd just give me a counter offer that's big. Give me a counter.
I can't be bought.
Come on.
I can't.
All right, I'll do it.
Okay, bye-bye.
You're watching the Emmy Award-winning Jim Heath.
So I wish I could go and refer to the links that I had pulled up, but we'll just chop it up together. Again, peace to anybody who's come through and who's watched this video live after I'm filming it, or the people that listen to this tomorrow or at a later date. You know, again, peace to you guys. And if you could help me out by and subscribing to this channel, if you could, I deeply appreciate it. I want to come at you with more of this kind of content in the future. Especially, it's going to be really spicy in 2024. Like I said, not only do you have an election, it just sounds like a pivotal year, 2024. I mean, 2020 sounded like a pivotal year, and that ended up being just that. Well, 2024 sounds like it, And pivotal shit is going down in 2024. But, you know, I want to come through and talk about it with you together. But again, big help if you could like and subscribe. But going back to the case of Kari Lake, you know, with this video, the guy who's doing that is not doing that because he doesn't like Trump, because every other quote or every quote that he had in reference to Trump, and he actually says it in this video, he says in the video that he loves Trump, but every other quote that he puts out in the public in reference to Trump, it's only bigging him up and saying how great he is and saying how great 45 is. Also, he represents the highest position within the Republican establishment in the state of Arizona, bar none. You would figure that a person who runs the Republican establishment would be right behind the leading candidate at this time by many people's standings, 45, the person I can't mention on this platform much. But you would think that that person who represents the Republicans in the state of Arizona would be right behind Trump in his support. But here you have him not only not behind the leading candidate for the presidential election in 2024, you also have him trying to bribe one of the people within the Trump sphere. You know, this is crazy times. I mean, and this happens all over politics. You got to ask yourself, too, who funds these things? Who finances these things? You know, maybe these are some of the things that you're going to be finding out this year, you know, or get a clue of. I am seeing on Twitter a lot of stories in relation to like NGOs and shit that happens like behind the scenes, like that influence politics or attempts to, but it all seems like these shady institutions a lot of times. You know, you'll see one institution that I looked up today had a budget of like 55 million bucks like 2 years ago, and in 2023 like their budget was triple that, like in the 150 millions. And that's something, a group that is behind a lot of that works primarily to try to bring migrants into the country. You know, it's a NGO, but these are just examples of some of the money. Like in the case of the NGO, getting a budget of 50 million bucks 1 year, which is substantial enough, to then tripling that budget in 2023 at a time where migrants are coming in more than ever. This organization that their goal and their sole purpose is to establish more migrants coming in and getting them established here in the US, their budget then triples in 2023. So, I mean, these are things that hopefully we know more of this year, you know, which I think is going to be going down more and more and more this year and going into the future. I think this is a time of novelty, new things happening every day. And, you know, the new things that you see now that do affect other new things popping off in your life, mostly not good, but you know, you're seeing these new things in politics. There was a congressman that recently alluded to the fact that blackmail could happen by way of sexual instances with politicians, like where they meet a woman at a bar and they then go on to have sex. And the example that he gave was that politician could be at the cusp of voting for something and is then approached by a individual with a suit telling him about a woman that he met at a certain bar, and if he votes for a certain bill, that video of that interaction with him and the lady could be put out. I mean, once you get blackmailed into doing something like that, I mean, you got a hold of somebody for a while because that blackmail doesn't go away. That in that article that you have that you're using to blackmail a politician or a public official or anybody, you know, that article that you have that you're holding over their heads doesn't go away. So, but in essence, you still have power over them. And this congressman, I believe, recently said that that kind of stuff happens in DC. And he used the example that I just mentioned. Now, you also, in addition to that, have big time money coming in. At this stage, you could probably assume that the guy, Mr. DeWit, the Arizona GOP chairman, was also paid by some unknown source big time money to pull something off like this or to attempt something like this. Maybe he was told that he'd get 10% of whatever dowry he could collect or give Kari Lake to get out of politics for 2 years. Maybe they already paid him big time cash already, like I think is happening with a lot of politicians in the same state that this guy represents. You know, and I'm not saying this now. I've been feeling that way based on what I've seen personally. No, I'm not looking like it's not like me trying to help 45 along for the layman who may come here and try to contend that notion. No, I'm telling you what I see. I mean, I'm interested in these things and not from regular news sources. And not only that, but you're being told not to look really deep into these things nowadays. The news is telling you 100% lies about what's happening now. Story like this, where it shows a level of corruption, cash being offered, positions being offered in institutions or corporations, this should be front page news. It's not going to get there, especially in election year like we have now. But you got to wonder, where does the money for this kind of shit come from? I mean, if you make $150,000 in a year, for you to give 1% of what you make in that year for a political cause, you'd be coming out of your pockets $1,500. Now, $150,000 a year is a substantial amount of money, but $1,500 is also a substantial amount of money. Now, if you make $60,000 a year, same example, and you want to give a political cause 1% of your money, you'd be giving them $600. And again, that's substantial. It's nothing you just throw out like that. But you have people here that are potentially offering $50 million probably. She throws out the numbers. I don't care if it's 10 million, 20 million, 30 million, $1 billion. And, you know, I'm pretty sure that that's within the realm of what they're offering. They ain't come up to her with no $500,000 and a fucking Kia Sophia or some shit or a Range Rover, like to try to get her to defect. No, they probably can't, like, you know, their cap was probably in the 100 millions, maybe more. Who knows? These are pivotal times, though. Like, you know, this has always been happening. It's probably going to happen with more frequency now. And maybe we get stories that we could talk about together regarding all the crazy shit that's going to be popping off. But you also can't discount the fact that the biggest force within the Republican sphere is, without question, 45. 45 is giving every bit of gas to the Republican world as we speak, conservative world as we speak. He's the biggest source of energy. This person is on tape admitting to trying to make this move with Kari Lake in an effort to screw over 45. You know, and it's not like this is a rumor at this point, because this person actually put a statement that I can't access now because the Twitter is not working. But this actually person, Jeff DeWit, actually put out a statement saying that. At first, he put a statement. Well, he's saying that he stepped down from that position, first off, but he actually had a little bit of an interaction with Kari Lake, and I had the links on Twitter again, and my Twitter's not working for some reason when I'm making the stream. But he said something along the lines of the fact that it was edited, or that they've had conversations, that the fact that she recorded him, although he and her are friends, which you could tell they're friends during the making of this recording, like they have a relationship with each other. But later on in the day, Kari Lake responds and says that he should step down from his position as the Arizona Republican chair because of this recording. She says that you should step down because of what's been exposed, or what I exposed. Otherwise, I'm going to put more content out of you doing something similar. He then goes on later on in the day, doesn't respond, and basically types up a letter of his resignation from that position, steps down. So none of this is BS. This is happening in real life. Why this isn't big news or bigger news, I don't know. But this is happening as we speak. This all went down today. The fact that this guy resigned, the fact that bribery at the highest level is rendered, the nature or the fact of 45, in addition to Kari Lake, being powerhouse players in the political field. Who's making this go down? Like the GOP chair at a national level, Rona, whatever her name is, who's related to Mitch McConnell, another swamp scumbag, grimy person, in addition to Rona McDaniel, whatever the name is, the GOP chair, which is basically the national position that this fella Jeff DeWit from Arizona holds. Is she getting up to the same shit? Because everybody alludes to the fact that she's one of these same kind of people who's also against 45 when you scratch her surface off, but also chopped at the legs of a lot of other really good Republican candidates that were running that she didn't endorse or didn't put money behind. You know, this is politics in this country. Probably been this way forever, or likely has been this way forever. I'm sure it's been this way forever. But you're seeing it play out with evidence, with the highest office at stake, with the person who's running for that office, that highest office being the source or the reason as to why this bribe was even being offered in the first place. And the person, Jeff DeWit, is alluding to the fact that 45 doesn't have a good chance at winning. No person in their right mind today is telling you that 45 has a chance of losing to the person sitting in office right now, Biden. Biden is a walking L. He's one of the worst position candidates that I've ever seen. Trump is actually gaining momentum with bases of people that he's never even had a smidget of support with. This is all going down in 2024. And this person is saying, you know, well, Trump can't win and we need to get somebody else in there. Anybody could beat the person in office right now. That's my conclusion. You'd have to get a real bad person in there that wouldn't be able to beat Biden at this current juncture. Could Ron DeSantis beat Joe Biden in a straight up race? Of course. Could Kari Lake beat Joe Biden in a race? Possibly. Could Nikki Haley beat Joe Biden in a race? Good chance. That's not saying that Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley are good candidates against Trump. I mean, against Joe Biden. But they'll beat Joe Biden because Joe Biden is absolute shit right now in the eyes of most people. So you have that in addition to the fact that Trump is actually gaining momentum. Trump didn't lose one smidget of support. If he's lost any support, you're talking about 0.5%. But he's gained inroads with the Black community. He's gained inroads with the Latin community. Gained inroads with Democrats. A lot of these people are either not voting for Biden or sitting out. In addition to the fact that a lot of the mail-in ballots benefited Joe Biden. Right now, we're not living through a pandemic like we were in 2020. So Joe Biden did benefit from that, and he won't be able to benefit from it in 2024, to put it lightly. So Trump or 45 should be a candidate that should have every dollar behind them when it comes to the highest office of the land. Any money allocated for the Republican nominee should be all behind Trump. Why bother with funding Nikki Haley? Why bother funding with Ron DeSantis? But what they're trying to do is take votes away from 45 or 47 potentially. And that's not even going to work from the look of it. But this isn't just about votes or political maneuvering. This is all going after one candidate right now, a candidate who's in the lead right now in most people's eyes for the 2024 election. And you have every member of the media, including Fox, who's working against them, not endorsing them at the very least. You have members of his own party who are moving against them with proof. So, having said that, this is going to be a spicy year, and don't think that this is the end of all this. I mean, I'm hoping that this is covered a lot more broadly. Like, going to give the regular mainstream media a chance to catch up. Again, the story did come out this morning. The resignation of this creep, Jeff DeWit, happened this afternoon or later in the afternoon, closer to the evening here in New York. But let's see if the media even chooses to cover this tomorrow with any of the importance that it does merit. My prediction is that they won't. But again, I want to thank you guys who have come through this evening. Bruce Gass, thank you for coming through, my brother. But also the people that catch this video later on this evening. But if you guys could, it would be a big help if you guys could like, subscribe, help me out in terms of this wretched algorithm that I could probably prove is working against me actively. With that, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Until the next time I catch you guys, stay safe.